I know you've said frequently, and your team has frequently done it, that your job is to have a defense that goes out and wins games. And you guys have done that a lot. How do you feel like this team is progressing toward epitomizing that every week as you go down the stretch?
I think our group's improving. I think our side of the ball, I think our guys all understand if they don't ever score, you don't ever lose. And I think everybody on the defensive side understands that. So, we had a shot the other night to try to close it out, and we didn't get it done. And so I think we've all taken that relatively personal. And it's an area that we had a shot at it, and we didn't get it done. But I think our guys have worked really hard. It's not ever been lack of preparation with this group. The leadership that we have on our team, the work that goes on in this building, on this floor, off the field, and those kind of things. So I think our group is improving. We still have some young folks out there running around, and you saw, we put Marcus Neil in there as a spy the other night for the first time, and actually did a great job for us. So there's a lot of new faces still out there, but we don't have much room for error at this point in time. And in the month of November, you got to play.
Throughout your career, you've probably seen a bunch of teams have to respond after a first loss, after a successful start. I'm thinking Youngstown probably in particular, and maybe occasionally. Mm-hmm. What have you seen from this group that you that you could compare to some other groups in the past?
I really don't ever really compare teams, Rob, not being disrespectful. I just don't ever compare. I just think this group has, since we've asked them to come back here in January, to have the right mindset to try to change this whole thing, to get it going. They've done that. And so, I don't ever, and that's the one thing when you lay your head on a pillow at night, as a coach, man, are your guys and your staff, everybody doing everything they can? And the answer is yes, we are. And yes, they are. And they have been since January. So, those guys will rally up. They'll lead this team like they have. And, we've got to play better football on our side. We've got to help ourselves a little bit. But we can do that, So, we've got to do a better job of that. But I'm not, I love this group.
Obviously, back-to-back games facing these star running backs, and now heading to Kansas City, you're going to face the like of Devon Neil. What have you kind of seen just from him in this Kansas offense before heading to Saturday? Yeah,
they, the whole offense itself, a lot of these guys, it seems like they've been there forever. From quarterback to wideouts to tight ends to O-line, like that whole group seems like they're veterans and very talented players. I think, Devon does a great job of running the football. They're doing a lot of things that make it really hard on you as a defense. I think Coach Grimes has gone in there and taken over, that group, and they challenge you in a lot of ways. They make you defend the whole entire field, and we'll have to do that. But very talented group, very skilled group, and I think the quarterback's extremely dynamic, and the tailback can take it the distance in a second. So you have to be right on your game.
Jon, I feel like the thing the players have a lot of times said when we ask about the first drive defense of the game is we need to improve our mentality. Is that something that you can coach? Is that a tangible thing?
I don't. They're all drives they're all drives. I guess I look at it sometimes differently. I wish we would go out and get 3 and out and get off the field. And when the head coach defers, that's what he's counting on you to do. So I think when we defer, we've always had the mentality to go out and get them stopped and get the ball back and gain a possession. Really, is what you're trying to do when you do that. So, it's a little bit. It's obviously not what we choose. The other night was kind of a misfortune of what happened out there the other night on the play, but it happened. And, we'll have to continue to work at it. We evaluate all the calls that we make on those series and the whole thing. Everybody's working at it. This group has scored, I think they've played 8 games. They've scored the first drive, their opening drive, they've scored 6 of the 8. So we've got a great challenge, and we're going to have to be better and cleaner, and we'll do a better job of trying to make the right calls and executing those things. But I try not to get hung up, because the next drive is just as important as the first drive. If you go out and get them stop the first drive and they go score the second drive, well, then you let them score the second drive. So the score's, it's still 7. So I always look at it as a defense, like the idea is to not let them score. And we have to just do a better job of that. But I don't get all, we got to go on to the next series and get things stopped. And if you get 3 and out, you can't feel great that the game's over. You got to go out and get them stopped again and again and again. So I don't get caught as much in that opening drive. Yeah, our goal is to go out there and get him stopped, and that's why coaches defer him, because he's counting on us to do that, and you're trying to get a possession back.
You guys have faced quite a few like mobile quarterbacks this year, and the last two, Ja'Cory Brown, a lot. Ja'Cory Brown,
Right.
Garrett Green, two of them that got you a few times.
Yep.
What has that shown you, or I mean, what areas of the defense maybe does that stress?
Yeah, it stresses all of it. It stresses the coverage in the back end. It stresses the guys up front pressuring, keeping the guy in the pocket. But those guys are talented guys. They're not easy. That's not an easy task. And we rush 3 guys. So, there's 3 guys rushing and 5 guys blocking and a very talented guy behind them. So you have to have some great zone eyes behind them. You have to have some spies at times. You have to pressure them at times. We've tried to change it up, and you also have to understand again that those guys are very talented. They may get out and make a run. The key is to not let it change the game, and I think that's the big thing you have to marry in all of this together, is to try to keep it in a box and try to do a good job of it.
Playing at Arrowhead, obviously NFL stadium, how do you keep your guys level-headed?
I think the reality of probably the last game will help us keep pretty level-headed, to be honest with you. I think our kids are pretty humble right now. I think our staff is very humble, but I think our group is really, for the most part, all the time. But I think that's it. I think our guys have played in cool environments, obviously before. I think the veteran guys understanding, that we're playing in Arrowhead, helping the young guys understand what that's about. The locker rooms are always nice. You always have a lot of room to get dressed, so that's always a plus for the players, So that's always a bonus, because some of the places we go, that's not the case. And, I just think our leadership group, to be honest with you, it's a great question, but I think our leadership group, that has kept us pretty level-headed since January will help do that. And I think our guys understand what's at stake, and, I think, Saturday's game is still eating at all of us.
You want to talk about any of those locker rooms that are small and uncomfortable, or?
No. But there are. I mean, you're traveling to visiting locker rooms, and some of them aren't it's not being at a home game. And usually when you go to the NFL stadiums, it's pretty cool. So I've been in a few of them over the years, and it's quite a change, really, even from your home locker room as far as space is concerned.
One of the things that KU has struggled with this season is just not good times to turn the ball over, and it's led to some one-score losses for them this season. Yeah. For you as a defensive coordinator, has takeaways taken an extra emphasis this week with some of their struggles and how it's led to some of their losses?
We really, since we've been here, we've taken an extra emphasis on winning what we call win the 12 period, and it's a period that we spend on defense and offense both, working on turnovers and takeaways and trying to find ways to do that. I think it's something that everybody does. I think how you do it and the intent that our guys approach it with in a game, I think we've gotten some pretty good habits now of doing it. But I don't think you approach the game any. I think our guys did a good job the other night, got a couple interceptions, and had an opportunity at the third and with the penalty, obviously. But I think our guys are focused in on trying to get the ball back. I think that's one of the things, again, as, what is your job as a defensive player or coach, is to get the ball back. And it's either by downs, it's by a takeaway, and I think those are the things that allow you to do it. So you got to put as much emphasis in that as you do on, getting them stopped on 3rd or 4th down. So it's become really important for our guys.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Great. Appreciate you all. Thanks.